Hello, good morning, my viewers, and how are you? Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all well. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. I hope you'll have a good sleep from wherever you're watching from. It's early morning, and I'm preparing to go and make my hair. This time I had made this with rastas, but remember what I had told you, that in the healing process of making my hair, these are not they're not good, but I did this out of necessity because I was traveling to Mombasa and I needed to look smart. So I'm going to undo my hair. I am not the type of person who can afford or who likes to go to the salon to have it undone, removed. So I'm just going to use a pair of scissors and cut off like almost at this edge, almost at this point, because my hair is not very long. And then after that, I'll just remove my hand. It doesn't take long, probably within 20 minutes I'll be done, and then I go to the salon. Then I'm also going to make my nails. I'm on a self-development and self-improvement wave or ride or session or period, and so I've decided that I'll be doing my nails. I've normally been doing them myself because of lack of money, of course, and everything else, but now more and more it's becoming a necessity. Also because of the fact that I'm doing content creation, and also for the sake of myself, some more self-love and some more self-care. My feet are already done. I'm very particular about my feet because even when I go to the salon, I don't want to get my cuticles removed. Yeah, that's some of the things I prefer to do at home because I'm so afraid of infection. Nail infection is a real scare for me, and I don't want anybody taking chances. So the only thing I allow is to remove the cutex and put on more cutex. I think I'm going to, I know, I'm just going to use cutex because I've seen a lot of the information that is being given about the dangers of gel, and I'm genuinely afraid. I don't want anything that is going to put a risk to my health or the well-being of my nails. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them just cleaned, buffed, and then I'll just put nail polish. I know they have different rates for regular nail polish and then for gel. Yes. And then I'll be leaving my daughter's house tomorrow. So in preparation for that, of course, I've been spending as much time with my little king, and it's going to be a period. Then we'll probably see one another one more time before Christmas, and I'm so looking forward to Christmas and to growing my hair. My keep fit routine is going on very well. I don't have a specific time that I do exercises. It's regular, meaning sometimes when I'm taking a break from editing or I've not gone out, and if I'm watching TV or I'm listening to the radio or I'm just watching the baby, then I'll do a session of something, anything. Yeah. And though I'm eating slightly a bit more because of my high metabolism, I'm spreading out the eating hours more. Because, like, for example, if I have lunch, I'll not eat all the portion at once. I'll eat half the portion and then eat the other portion around 3. And then dinner, that's when I'll just have a measured portion, but I'll have one. But my lunch is always in 2 portions. Whatever I serve, I'll divide it into 2 portions. And that is also helping my metabolism to be faster because the more you stuff into your body, the longer it takes to process. But when you do bits with liquids in between, then it develops faster. So yeah, that is it. Now I'm not expecting to have another contract coming up before Christmas, and I need money. So I'm working on my YouTube channel so much so that by January, God willing, I may have developed, even if it's to 500 followers. So I'll appreciate very much if you can like and subscribe. I'll be very, very grateful. I keep on telling you, I'm not doing this for fun. I'm not doing this just for the kicks of it. No, 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 no. For me, content creation is a way to earn money while I tell my story and hope to inspire people and to encourage people and to help somebody out there who might be in need of just seeing a different story and thinking, I was here feeling so hopeless, but there's hope. If she can do it uh, while facing these circumstances, so can I. So it's really, really with a lot of hope that I can inspire somebody and motivate somebody. So we'll see you later. I think when I'm doing my hair, I might show you a bit of that because I'm going to sit down. I have to sit somewhere where it's not going to drop a lot. This synthetic hair is so messy when you're doing it and when you're removing it because it leaves small particles. I mean, it's stretched plastic or something. So you need to be somewhere where you can do the cleanup very well. And me being in a surrounding that has a baby, I have to be very careful that I do it right. As usual, because I'm in somebody's house and I'm not in my own, I'm taking all care to make sure that I show very little of their home. That's out of respect. And whenever I'll be shooting or whenever I'm shooting in somebody's home, that's what I'll keep on doing. I mean, unless I have their full position, permission, like, please, I want you to show this part of my house or I want to show this part of my life. I'll respect everybody's privacy. And so I'll just choose one place where I can shoot my videos, where I can do my vlogging, but which does not in any way expose them more than necessary. So see you in a bit. Please remember to like and to subscribe. Thank you. So I'm looking like this because I just came out of the bathroom. I was oiling myself. I'm remaining to oil my feet. And like I said, I take every opportunity to do a bit of flexing. So while I'm oiling my feet, I actually bend down straight. Yeah, like I don't have to sit on a chair or put my leg on a stool or a chair to oil up to my toes, just so that I can mentally ensure and physically that I'm doing a bit more exercise when I'm doing something as rudimentary as oiling myself. So that is my hair when it's removed. You can see it has cut a lot, but the thickness of the hair has much improved, except for the middle where it really still hasn't grown a lot, but there's still an improvement. So now because I've removed it, has taken what? It has taken me less than 10 minutes because I got somebody to help me. So I'm going to go out and go to the salon, do the nails, and then do my hair. You see, this is what I was telling you. This synthetic hair is so messy. I had to put something on my shoulder, so yeah. But I've done it outside to make sure that pieces of hair don't remain, which can affect baby because they can come across baby's food, can swallow. I mean, it's really very dangerous. When you're removing hair which is synthetic, do it outside if possible because the little particles that remain in the house, first of all, they're very difficult to sweep. And then secondly, they stick onto stuff, and especially if you have a child, they can swallow something without knowing it because it's a very thin strand and it can even end up cutting. For example, if they hold it against the mouth or against the eye, it can injure. So it's just safer to do it somewhere which is open and then airy, and the hair will be blown away and you can sweep it away without affecting the house. So yeah, twende. Na pia si nitakutangaza. Kwako panaitwaje? Neighbors. Ujui ukiharibu watajua tu hiyo mbaya tutafule. So people, I have come to a place, it's called Neighbors Salon. I had to take a matatu to go because it's a bit, somebody referred me, so it's a bit far from where I am. This is huku kunaitwaje? Regan. This is Regan, and the lady is called Doreen. I'm doing something new. I'm just trusting this is a place, as usual, I tell you that I normally go to my local person, Wangare. So this is a new thing I'm making. It's coming to festive season. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I don't want all that rhetoric that people make about salons in Nairobi. If I go, I trust somebody and trust them with my hair. So I'll wait to show you the results later. But I'm already here. I bypassed the market because this side I found that they have so many vegetables. as compared to where I am. So I bought some vegetables, and then I'll show you a bit around because it's not a place I come very often, so that you can see how it is when I'm heading back before I take my matatu. Okay, see you then later when I'm finished. Ongoing progress. I like how it's going on. We'll see when it gets finished. Okay. Okay, so I'm finished at the salon, and this is what was made. I think I rather like it. I've been walking in the wind, so it's blown up out a little bit, and I'm carrying a bit of things, so I can't keep on uh, patting it back down and all, but it hasn't flown out a lot. I like the hair is very very light. So what it is that like, they are like little rastas, just little braids, and then the end is not finished, but it gives it a natural look. It's synthetic but very soft and very nice, and very light on the head. I mean, I'm not feeling like when you have braids and then they're hanging down, they're dangling, because this is so light. Then it just makes me feel as if it's my normal hair, and then I don't have to pull. Unlike when I'm making Swahili, the Swahili lines, which have to pull the hair a lot, and then when I'm tightening to hold it at the back in a ponytail, this one leaves it free. So I'm hoping that it's also going to help with the growth on the forehead, and right at the back where I was told there's also a lot of thinning of the hair. And then probably I'll look into the option of getting a cream to help the hair to grow. So I'll probably talk to you later on, but I finished from the salon and I like how it was made. I'm going to put down the contact of the lady. I asked her if I can do that, and she said that's all right. I don't need to say where she is. I'll just give her name and her number. Hi, good evening. So I went to the salon earlier. I did my hair like I showed you. The lady unfortunately was not able to do nails, so I did not do my nails. I'll still have to remove them myself, and then I don't want to wait many days without making them. So I'm probably just going to have to do them myself, and then when now they get spoiled, then that's when I'll go to someone to have them made. So while I was at the salon, I'll tell you of an experience that I came through. I mean, the impunity of men in Kenya. And I know some people might come at me and tell me, I'm so much against men, but the brazen inconsideration and lack of empathy and I can say what carelessness and inconsideration and just plain bad manners of Kenyan men is beyond belief. I mean, they are so uncouth. They are so, how can I put it? Our men are so mannerless. I don't have the words to talk about the impunity with which they do some things. And this is coming from the conversation I had about one woman and what her man has done. But I say Kenyan men generally because it is a story that is repeated very often all around the country. It is a story that I've heard from so many women that I assist in my line of community work. It's a story I've heard from friends. It's part of the story that I have gone through. And it's so tiring. It's so tiring. It is so tiring. And is it a wonder really that so many of us do not even want to hear anything about dating and getting married to a black man, or to even our Kenyan brothers, let alone Africans, even better an African from somewhere else. It is because of this kind of behaviors. Now this man, and I say this is not an isolated case because trust you me, I know that there's somebody who is going to be watching this video and they're going to be, that happened to me, that happened to my sister, that happened to my cousin, that happened to my mother. It happens every day, everywhere in Kenya. So this lady is making my hair. And when I entered her salon, I found her with 5 children. They were helping her to move furniture and to sweep. Of course, I assumed they were her children. Then they came out. Then, salons, you always start to talk, whether it's gossip, whether it's just talk, just general talk. So we were giving general talk. Then I was like, oh my goodness, I've come almost at lunchtime and it's going to delay you cooking for the children. I'm so sorry. So she said, no, 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 no. Actually, only the eldest is my child and the others are the children of a friend whom I'm staying with. And they need to go and ask, they said they want to go and ask their father for breakfast. So, it did not make sense. You're staying with them and they need to go and ask their father for breakfast. So, I just left it at that, but in my mind I had questions. So we went on. Then shortly afterwards, a certain lady came just after she had told me that a lady friend of hers came and said, oh, what's the update on our friend? So she said, oh, we still have a problem. She's not able to get out of hospital. She called me. She doesn't even have money for airtime. She hasn't had enough food. And I started getting concerned. Like, it sounds like there's somebody who's going through a problem. And social worker me, the person in me, I'm so concerned about people's welfare, even if it's strangers. I mean, this really got to me. So when they were talking, I asked her, oh, sorry, you have a friend who's unwell. Then she told me, you see the children who are here that I told you about? They are her children. She's just she went to hospital 5 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago. And she's been detained in hospital because the hospital bill can't be paid. I was like, what? She said, yes. I said, so, but I thought you told me the children went to the father. And she said, yes. The dad, another Kenyan deadbeat dad. The dad had actually disappeared when the last born who was there when the children were there. When this child was born, he disappeared when she was young. He disappeared for 3 years. He came back not very long ago. The wife got pregnant. Immediately she gave birth, he disappeared on them again. So the house was locked up, and this lady, out of mercy, was like, her friend is calling her, and she's like, this man left me in the morning. I had stomach cramps. I'm about to deliver. He said he's going to fetch the car. I've not seen him since. So they had to rally up and get her to hospital. When they got to hospital, they came back. The landlord, after a few days, was like, I've not been paid for several months. I'm not listening to stories. This lady has to go. So my salonists took the children in and took the belongings of that woman to her house. For the past 5 weeks, she has been feeding the children. Children are sleeping in her house. Take note that schools just closed recently, so they've been going to school together with her children from her house. It wasn't making sense. I was like, but you said the husband is nearby. She said, yes, he's a barber. He's a few shops away from me. This brazen fearlessness of Kenyan men, to my understanding, is because they are not shamed. Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what I told them. I asked them, where does the man come from? And they said he's from Kitale. I said, and does the lady know his family? They said, no, she's only ever gone for a burial, but his parents are dead. And I was like, it doesn't matter whether the parents are alive or not. He comes from a clan. They have their relatives. And if she ever went there with him and she has 4 children, and this is another one, they bloody well know that she exists. So I was like, you people, you're planning to get her out of hospital and then continue looking after her and her children. Then he'll probably come back again, try to woo her when she's already found a place and impregnate her again. I just told them, if I had the option, if I was you, what I'd do is get her out of hospital and make arrangements for her to go to his village with all the children. Because I keep on saying, and for me, even for the men around my life, and I have no fear of saying this or shame, because I've realized that unless you shame men, very many men, unless you shame them, and I'm talking about Kenyan men, they just go on with their impunity. So we must say out some uncomfortable things. We must do some uncomfortable things. We must be a bit heartless. We must be a bit loveless as is possible. We must be a bit uncaring as is possible. Yes, so that you may remind people that they have overstepped their boundaries. And they have overstepped their boundaries with impunity. And they have overstepped their boundaries with deliberate intention to hurt others around them. And in this case, I'm talking about women. This is the reason, some of these are the reasons why femicide became an out of control issue in this country recently. Yeah, because, these men, you're living with a woman with 4 children, you're leaving her, you're within the vicinity, meaning you do not care about the village elders, you do not care about her going to the police to report, you do not care about her telling your relatives, you do not care what the neighbors say, you do not care what her relatives say. That don't care attitude. Like in Kenya, we have something called, that is said, utadu, like what will you do? I mean, yes, I'm doing all these wrong things, but what will you do? Where will you take me? What can you do to me to affect me? It's a don't care attitude that is so hurtful. And so for me, I was like, this is so wrong. Once my hair was done, almost done, a certain gentleman came again to the salon. So apparently this lady is what they had done. While they're pulling resources to make sure this young lady is fed every day, she has some data, the children are being fed. My salonist now has rallied friends around. So a gentleman came and said, he came with good news and told her that he had spoken to the hospital, he had called the hospital management, and then he had called the regional medical superintendent, I think, or something, for the ward. And they had had a sit down, because normally most hospitals have board meetings that are either held once a month or something, and then they discuss charity issues. So he had presented his case about this lady, and which is very lucky because these ladies had gone to him very early in the morning today, which happened to be the day when I think the board was meeting, or the officers from that hospital, and they had willingly accepted to waive the 20,000 that this woman owed so that she could go home. So he came to tell this salonist, please call your friend and make preparations to bring her home because the bill has been cleared. Do you hear? Even him is not discussing the husband. Like, everybody's very aware that the husband, comfortably seated in his barber shop, is going to have his wife brought home to somebody else's house. He'll still continue working. I was told that he drinks. He opens his barber shop, but when the children start demanding for stuff because they know where he is and he goes there, he'll just close the shop and not go or open late when he knows that the children are not good. Yeah, the shamelessness of it all. But he's not ashamed by all of that. It is the onlookers, the outsiders, who know that is a shameless act of manlessness. But he's very comfortable where he is. And this is something that we must talk about more often. Now, I was looking at these neighbors, so concerned. They're going to help this lady bring her home. So this salonist was telling me she doesn't even have Pampers. In my mind, I'm like, Pampers are nothing. You can even tear up strips of cloth and use for the baby. But you're going to be hosting a newly delivered mother and a baby and have other 4 children. That is a bigger concern. You need to have food. You are already married. You need to have space for this person. It's enough that you are hosting the children. Hosting children is one thing. Hosting their parents also is another thing. And I'm so angry. I am so angry. We are not shaming men enough. We are not shaming men enough. I am telling you, they have to be brought to their senses. And clans also have to be held accountable. And the greater families also have to be held accountable. It should not be business as usual. I call out, even with my own relatives. Sometimes I have sit downs with my family. If there's a family member who's not doing due diligence, I'm talking about the men, who is not doing due diligence for his family or his dependents. And I keep on saying, you don't have to be married to a woman to look after her children. If you had children together, period, they are your children. There is nowhere that is written that children belong to a man if the woman is married to him. Not at all, not at all, not at all. And again, sometimes I must keep on saying that some of these things hurt me and touch me to the core, because it's stuff that I've gone through, that I've experienced, that has caused me pain, that I've seen firsthand the magnitude of the badness of it all. The hurtfulness that it gives you, the pain that it gives you, the pain that it gives your children, knowing that their father is present, but he's choosing to be absent. There are so many questions in those children's heads. And I remember that when I came in and this lady was talking about it, and she was like, I just don't tell these children about their dad and what he's doing, and I don't like to discuss a lot about what's happening with their mom because they're young children. And I was like, what young children? What young children? Because I had seen one of the girls was around 10, another one was around, I can say 13, and the small one must have been around 6, I think. And then one of the children, the other one, I couldn't gauge the age because the place where I was seated facing the mirror most of the time, even when they were sweeping, they were outside. So I can't really gauge the age very much. It looks like she has a small body and you can't be very sure about the age. So I told them, stop underestimating these children. They know exactly what their father is doing to their mother. They know that he has money. They probably know that he drinks because it's a small place. They probably know that, they've probably heard from their mother stuff like he has other women or he doesn't care about them. And for the children to say that they're going to ask him for breakfast and then come back and say that he told them to wait. This is around noon. Wait for what? Wait till when? He's supposed to even have told them, no, I'll not give you breakfast. I'm going to give you lunch. I actually took out some money and bought them some buns. And so anyway, that's what it was. So I asked the lady. Actually, the lady who has delivered had a C-section. So since the hospital has waived the bill, she'll be coming home. I told the lady, so you're the one who's going to get her? And she was like, yes. I mean, there's nobody else, and the husband has not been communicating with her. So we're going to go and get her, and then we'll find out how neighbors and other people can help with pampers and everything. When we speak to women empowerment, it is not so that women can be empowered to live with men, but while they are able to cater for themselves. No. Well, for me, when I speak of women empowerment, it is so that I can empower a woman to know that this so-called marriage or relationship I am in is not helping me and is not helping me, the children, and I am equivalent to somebody who is not with a man in their life. So I might as well walk out of this. Yes, it is when you sit down and take all consideration of what it is costing you to stay with a man who is not present, vis-a-vis what it is going to be like for you to be a present mother, a present parent, and the only parent. And with full consideration that the children are going to know that you willfully left the relationship with their father or their caregiver. Because sometimes it might be you're in a relationship where the person you are with is not the father of the children. But either which way, Kenyan men have it all wrong. And the brazenness, I keep on saying this, the brazenness of the misbehavior of Kenyan men. Oh, it's long overdue. A check on it, a check and correction, and not even correction, and action on it is so long overdue. It's totally long overdue. I'm very glad that now people are speaking out. I'm seeing women speaking out. I'm seeing even men speaking out to what fathers have done to families for over the years. I mean, you find such trending hashtags, such trending memes going on about dads and about uncles and about brothers and about husbands. And it's taken like a joke, but it is very serious. It is very, very, very serious. We have a very big problem in Kenya and in Africa in general about the mistreatment of women by men. And it is all tied down to the egoistic cultural assumptions that men are the head of the family. And head here means that you lead the family in God knows what, by the way. Because in the traditional setup, people keep on thinking that it was about men leading. No. It was about collaboration between the man and the woman in the African tradition. And oh yes, I have every proof about it. It was not that the man was the head of the family. The man took certain responsibilities in the public eye. And the woman took certain responsibilities that were well known about in the clan, that were well known about in the tribe, that were well known about in the village, that were well known about in the tribe, and that were well known about in the region. And behind the scenes, it was the women who were calling the shots, who were keeping everything in order, so that when the man now came in public to speak about the homestead, he was acting as the representation, because the man was allowed to dare. The man could, by virtue of being a man, could dare to go to places where the woman could not. The vulnerability of the woman was the strength of the home. And so that vulnerability had to be protected. It had to be kept safe, and it had to be secured. And so one of the ways of securing it was to limit how much it was in the public eye. And that is why women were not speaking in open barazas. And that is why women were not going to next door villages, but they would send emissaries. And the emissaries that were being sent were the husbands. If it was negotiations, just for your information, for those of you who are not African, that is, when emissaries go to negotiate for bride price, and the so-called buying of women, this is the bride price negotiations, is done by men. But do you know on what strength they go? On the strength of the information they've been given by the women. It is the women who do the investigative work about the home of the girl. What is their clan like? What is the history? What is the ancestry? What little secrets might there be? They have their ways of finding out. And when they've cleared all that, they now gauge the wealth of the other family or the capability of the other family. They do the nitty-gritty of the work, and then they advise the men. When you go there, this is what you need to demand for. This is what you need to negotiate for. This is what you need to ask for. This is what you need to go and request that needs to be done. Because these are negotiations of high-level inter-family relations. But immediately that was replaced by misogyny. Is it called misogyny? This male domination assumption. We got lost. And so for me, the story that I had today was representation of the ills of society that are going on. In the vlog, in the video that I made, is it yesterday or the day before? I was talking about how the church has not stood up, is not standing to duty in making sure that family life is protected, in making sure that families are well protected. When I say this, it is because a lot of women, even the women who are going, and let me speak to Christianity the most, because I don't know how Muslims have their own way of handling. I don't know about other religious faiths. But Christianity is such that because religious leaders are so well respected, admired, held in awe, revered. A lot of women will take their problems to the religious leaders who are men. And the men will handle some of these problems as men. But if, in my view again, I keep on saying, all opinions stated here are according to my personal view, which may be wrong, but which, in my opinion, is the best of how I think. In my view, the only way to settle family issues is by involving family members. I'm not an advocate of don't tell the family about your secrets. Rubbish. Rubbish. Because when you do not involve family, but you want to involve family in celebrations, in burials, so the in-between, why are you leaving family out? Let family know. If there's an abuse situation, let family know. Because again, I keep on saying, and in this case, it's not just for the men, even for the women, a lot of impunity of abuse in relationships. Because here I'm talking about family, I'm not just talking about dating or anything else. And case to point again, this woman, for this to have escalated to this level, it's because you don't involve family. I asked my salonist, this woman, what does her family say? I said, no, she's an orphan and her stepmother also used to abuse her. Again, when people are vulnerable, they apply every aspect of wrong traditional myths. So what if the stepmother used to abuse her? The clan is more than the stepmother. Even if the father is not alive, there are so many people to reach out to. And I do not know, it is so common with so many people, even for the people around me. Again, I keep on saying, me, I'm just different in many ways. Why would I hesitate to tell my family about my problem with my man if I have gone ahead to tell them that this is the man in my life? If I do not have a mother, I have an aunt. If I do not have a father, I have an uncle. If I do not have aunties that are right siblings of any of my family, I have their cousins. I have their grandparents. I have their parents. I have the chief. People do not exercise the power of authority that is given to them. You have the authority to state that this person, I'm in their life, and it is with your knowledge, and you are stakeholders in one way, and I am suffering in this way or that way. And how can I be helped? If not, then you reach out to local authorities. But before you go to the local authorities, and I think that is why even the courts of Kenya, the family courts, have now gone back and asked people, before you come to settle some of these disputes in court, seek to have mediation. That is why mediation is happening at family level, at lower levels that are nearer to the home, so that the family setup can be protected. Anyway, I just get so tired. So tired by the evil that men do in this country. It just displeases me. It saddens me so much. And this brought home so many things that are right now happening in my community, in this town, in this country. It all comes down to that. If you're not able to do what is right in your family, you're not going to do what is right in your community. And if you do, you're going to be pretending. And it will not go down well. And I keep on saying, this is something that I believe, that when there is this mass acceptance of, because this man has friends, they must know what he's doing, but they still drink with him. He has neighbors, he has a landlord, they know what he's doing, but they still let him be. We should escalate giving people like these problems to prove to them and to show them and to make it impossible for them to have comfort in their lives. I would expect that the landlord of that man might just tell him, leave my house if you cannot look after your family. Please, I do not want somebody like you here. I would expect the friends to tell the man, please, we do not want to sit with you at a drinking session or at any other session. I would expect clients who hear of what he's doing to be able to tell him, no, I'm sorry, I cannot support your business because of what I hear you're doing to your family. You can imagine what goes on in those children's minds. I mean, this salonist impressed me. The children started telling her, oh, mom, they call her mom. That shows you the level of love that they hold for her and she for them. So they were like, Mom, there was music playing in the shop next door. Mom, we are going to dance for you. We can dance for you. So she told them, oh, if you dance for me, in fact, I'll take you to a wedding on Saturday. And the one who dances well can get this and this and that. And so, they started practicing there. And oh, what a joy it was watching these children. They were dancing mapangale, the Kenyan dance that is like fighting. And they were joking at each other. No, this one can't dance well. I'm going to be the winner. And And in my mind, I was like, these children are enacting what is in their heart to enjoy with their mother and their father. Because they did not choose that this is going to be our mother and this is going to be our father. And they hear other children talking about, oh, we did this with mom, we did this with dad. And I'm sure many times they have to explain to their friends, or their friends joke about it, or they just say it brazenly because children don't have breaks. I mean, they're innocent. Their friends must tell them, oh, you just stay with that other auntie who you call your mommy. But we heard your mommy is in hospital. Your daddy doesn't even come to see you. He doesn't even stay with you. And they must see other children living with their parents, living with their mothers, going to hospital and coming back and being fine, and not having rent issues like them, and not being chased out, almost, left stranded outside. It hurts. These are the bitternesses that go on. And that is why at a very huge level in Kenya right now, there are men who are crying for their 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old children to give them attention. The mothers of those children to give them attention because they abandoned them at a point when they had this level of impunity, when they are in their 30s and their 40s and they could do what they wanted. Just abandon the family and do what you want. And these children have gone on to survive all this. And now they're turning back and say, who are you speaking to? How do you matter in our lives? And they're standing strong with their mothers, and mothers are also taking charge and saying, women, that is, and saying, I don't remember you. We stopped knowing you the day you chased us out of the house, the day you turned your back on us, the day you neglected us, the day you beat the hell out of me and told me that I could go where I wanted with my children, etc., etc. Why can't this be stopped? Why can't the narrative be changed? Who is going to be the change? Me, I'm the change as a woman because I'm making decisions that empower me, that make everybody around me know that this is what I will stand for and this is what I will not take. But I have fought my battles as an individual, and I still am. And I'm empowering my daughters to do the same. But I cannot do it for everybody's home because the men need to change. So save your sons, those who still can. Let the narrative begin to change with our sons. Because with the older men, that is a gone story. Everybody will have to change for himself. But all I can say is that for our sons, for the generation now, who are in their 20s, who are in their 30s, they are our younger brothers, they are our sons. May we talk to them. May we teach them to respect women. May their future be different. May they not weep in regret. May they not be neglected at the time of need by those they sired. May they not lack families that they have but they abandoned. Let us begin to change this narrative and let us start with this generation who can still be rescued. And for those who did this in the past and they're expecting rewards that they do not deserve, thank you for staying on the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll keep posting. The numbers have changed since I restarted posting again. And it's a small change, but I always appreciate every level of growth. I'm praying so hard for Tanzania, where again we see dictatorship. When you have a woman at the realm behaving with reckless abandon, it is a pity. It is a pity because it's a crying shame. And she's just putting her future generation in a lot of problems. And I pray for our brothers and sisters in Tanzania that they may be safe, that they may continue to fight for their rights, that they may not bow down to pressure. Evil systems like this must get out of the way. Oh yes, the movement must continue. Yeah, we must push out rogue governments. For the people in Sudan, may God help us, the rest of the world, to stamp our foot down and not have any more bloodshed happening. This is so far worse than Rwanda. This is by far almost equaling what has happened in Gaza, because we are talking about a lot of mass murders in a very short period compared to Gaza, which has been prolonged. And I can assure you that it may be equal in numbers or even greater. The atrocities by far exceed anything that I have heard of in my life happening in one region. This can't be allowed. We are seeing racism in action. Let alone the gold issue. The racism factor, that's just unbelievable. But that the murders are so atrocious, it is very saddening. And please let us continue sharing details of people who are in support of this, who are involved in any way. The internet does not forget. Keep on sharing in your public posts. At one point, somebody may be forgotten somewhere who is coming out brazenly in public and talking about what he has done, or showing proof of what he has done, or showing support, or them showing support of what is happening in Sudan. And we must remember these people, because so that when the time comes to be held accountable, we do not forget a single face that was involved in supporting this or perpetrating what is going on in the Sudan. We pray for our brothers and sisters in Sudan. I pray for those families. I pray for the souls that have left in such a painful manner, that God may rest them in peace, and that their families may find comfort that surpasses understanding. Please remember to like and to subscribe. Thank you for staying on the channel, and thank you for giving me support. Asante.